again to Joshi and Deserex. Hello. I love it. CLG gonna continue to smurf. It's good stuff. That's some good vibes coming out from Breezy there. But it was nice games to see from them today, considering what happened yesterday, Joshi.
Like to see. However, I do have to think that whenever I hear somebody say "we will smurf," it's just like, what's that old copy pasta? You will feel our wrath. We will smurf soon, right? Like I can't. Was that an Acadian tweet? If I remember correctly. Do you remember, Eric?
Don't remember. I don't.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to look it up, and
Please,
everybody
please
in
do.
Twitch, somebody in Twitch chat guaranteed knows who it was. I think it was Acadian. It sounds like something he might say. You know, Scrim's going well. We will smurf soon. Don't worry about it. It was TSM. Was it TSM Acadian?
I'm not sure.
I
swear.
I'm
I'll,
really
I'll,
not
I'll
sure.
go.
Swear it
I'll go
was.
try and find it when we head into the game later. While you
Yeah,
two
do
are
some
doing your
history.
amazing casting, I'll go and try and find that tweet. We do have to look at what's next though, and it is going to be Immortals up against 100 Thieves for our third and final game of the day. Should be a lot of fun. As we head into the rosters to see exactly who's going to be matching up here, we're going to start with Immortals here. And Doshi, I'd love if you could bring us through this because we got to see what they offered yesterday.
Yeah, we saw that Immortals, they were actually able to take down CLG 2-0, right? And the first game was a bit wild. The second game was definitely more controlled coming through from the side of Immortals. And it's something where I feel like we can see a bit of both versions of them. But they also got to make sure that they kind of clean things up. There's a lot of raw talent on this roster that just needs some direction.
Yeah, well, someone to look at too heading into this game will be Chad. Deserex, tell us why we're looking to this player to live up to the namesake.
So Chad has been starting to show up now, and in pretty impressive ways. You know, we saw the fight last time that happened with CLG. You know, taking a 2-0 there was nothing to really scoff at. Right here, Chad, he still impacts his team in such good ways and gets out, steals a dragon on that one. I mean, Chad is very impactful when it comes to a lot of these team fights, a lot of these team plays, especially when they're around Pretty. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for him for how he was willing to try and innovate in the scene. You see one right here where he pulls out the Rengar. He was obsessed with this lethal tempo Rengar where he just spams bolo strikes. And, like right now, you see Chad hopping right over that wolf camp. Here he goes. Let's flash and throw another bolo. I think there was like 3 or 4 bolo strikes in that one. So Chad's been a fun player to watch.
Yeah, the way that he talks about the Rengar too is really funny, right? I heard this from Rafa, you know, who's good friends with Chad as well, and they're just like, yeah, you know, the whole thing is when you just have such a low cooldown on your bola and it's like a 1.5 second root and you just throw it out all the time, you basically become guaranteed engaged for the rest of your team, and you don't actually have to do all the damage that we normally think of Rengar for.
All right. Well, matched up against Immortals today, it is going to be 100 Thieves. Joshi, tell me what we got.
Yeah. This is a very different roster for people who remember watching them during Proving Grounds, right? We have Tenacity coming back, somebody that we saw a lot of success from towards the later stages of his academy career. But Will, Jamie, and BMFX, and Sword, remember, this is not our entire roster that we're going to end up seeing at the very end of it, but it is still going to be something that will have a lot of success when we start getting Busio back.
Right here, this is getting durability patched, is what I'd like to call it right there, as Will just grabs that kill and Tenacity gets out alive. Yeah, so far, with the squad that we've had out of 100 Thieves, they've gotten very, very interesting in the way they've adjusted a lot of things, going for these, like, cheeky Alco plays, like you see right here. It's an interesting development that we've seen with the players who are still staying around in 100 Thieves. You already mentioned one in Tenacity, another one in Jimian, who had a subpar performance when it came to the Academy regular season, but actually showed up really well in Proving Grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the clips too, being able to see, since we were talking about Chad, we got to see a little bit of Will and what we can expect in this jungle matchup going forward into today. How do we think that Will and Chad are going to be stacking up against each other, though, Joshi?
Well, they both have a lot of raw talent between the two of them. You know, Chad, we've been seeing he's kind of like a senpai for Will in some ways, right? Like Chad was on 100 Thieves Next, and he played with 100 Thieves Academy where they won where they actually won Proving Grounds, and then shortly after they ended up picking up Will for 100 Thieves Next, and now he's moving up to 100 Thieves Academy, and he's looking for his opportunity to really do well. I mean, they got 5th in Proving Grounds when he was still on Dignitas Academy, but it feels like Will's following the footsteps of what Chad is doing, and now he needs to prove that he's not just, the Kohai, the underclassmen of the things that Chad was doing previously, that he's his own player here to take control and show why he's the person on 100 Thieves Academy.
And not just that, it's it's not just the comparison to Chad that he has to deal with in this matchup. It's also the shoes he's filling in. Kenvi was promoted from 100 Thieves Academy. Following this up, I mean, Will has showed promise in the past. I remember with Dignitas, he was decent at turning things around for Dignitas. He's still growing. As I said, it is big shoes to fill, but I think over time in this split, we should see some improvement out of Will, and this makes for a very hype matchup against Chad.
Really does. A couple of players too that we're also looking at, to put the junglers aside for a second, is I want to be talking about Vital and Tenacity here, because Vital, we got to see a debut yesterday, a debut that did result in a win, but I want to see how that carries forward into today, Desrex, whether we can still see that performance that makes this a player to be like, okay, we got a couple of eyes.
Yeah, you do have to keep eyes on Vital. I wasn't the most impressed by his laning phase until he went against Jenkins and kind of just capitalized on a lot of his mistakes. But that was capitalizing on the mistakes of Jenkins. We still got more we need to see from Vital. However, in the team fights, Vital is a mechanical stud. Some of the knockups he was able to do with the Yone, where he got a double kill on the back end of a fight against CLG, he was looking great with that. It's a brand new person we're bringing here, and he's already getting wins.
Yeah, the fact that there's still a couple question marks too, I think makes it exciting to see what he can offer, especially since the game is ready and it is time to head into Champ Select and maybe have a couple of those questions answered. But you two have fun. Cannot wait to see 100 Thieves up against Immortals.
Bye, Sierra.
I think on the opposite side of the rift, this is just a really, really fun game.
Yeah.
Especially on the top side, Vital and Chad, Tenacity and Will. Like, both of these kind of mirror each other a lot. Tenacity and Vital, both of them being younger talent. Tenacity was kind of just skyrocketed through a lot of the 100 Thieves system. Vital now showing his debut, showing what this young North American talent can do.
Yeah, and I also want to give an apology in advance to specific Julie Gilmer, Golden Glue's mom. Alec Battery, if he's still around, I know he's doing CLO stuff, but he was keeping tracks on like which casters were casting which wins, and I could not cast a 100 Thieves win to save my life. So we are now in a spot where, after seeing their performance yesterday, we might be in a bit of a rough spot as well for them to continue going forward. There's a lot of raw talent on this roster, right? Tenacity has had a lot of growth over the past year or so, but Will, BMFX, and Sword are players who have not necessarily had the highest level of success historically. Will, again, got 5th in Proving Grounds with Dignitas Academy, but BMFX is basically just a solo queue player who didn't even play that much solo queue before they picked him up.
This cracks me up a little bit about Sword. Busio still in Korea over with his boot camp. Was really shaky when he was in the mid lane for TSM Academy. I don't know if that's going to be picked there, but when he made that swap over, doing the Huhi mid move, going to the support role, Sword's been looking a lot better there as Lucian, the first lock-in for 100 Thieves.
Yep, we saw this coming through. There was a lot of success with it for Luger previously, but the big thing here, I kind of want to tell a little bit more about BMFX, right? Because he's a player who would not play that many solo queue games where he could consistently hit Challenger every single time he would do it, and so that was intriguing to a lot of people. It's like, this guy doesn't even play that much, and he's already this good. What if we give him a little bit more resources? What if we make playing League of Legends more of a job for him? Will he actually be one of the best AD carriers that we could potentially find? The answer is still undecided, right? He is looking not bad, but he doesn't have the same kind of a competitive experience as a lot of our other AD carries who are so better used to playing around the slower team fights that often come with playing in a competitive environment.
Yeah, you can tell this is a long-term development outlook coming out from 100 Thieves. As more picks do go through, you're going to have double ADC coming out from 100 Thieves. Happy to take that Kindred going in for Will, something he's comfortable with for sure, as well as that Lucian Nami bottom combo. Immortals, they were able to get their hands on the Lilia, and they combo it with that Kalista and Renato we've been seeing all day.
Yeah. Okay, we also have confirmation, thank you to Sierra. It was, in fact, a Caden who tweeted it when he was on TSM. Let's do it. We will Smurf soon. I'm glad that I actually remember that, because I just remember it was such a funny tweet, because they actually won a couple of games immediately following after having lost. But as we get back into the draft, we notice that there is a lot of dancing coming through from the Immortal side and a lot of dancing coming through from the 100 Thieves side. It's a very fluid kind of team fighting, right? But the couple things that Lilia really hates, auto attackers. If you don't have to throw skill shots in order to do damage to her, she really doesn't appreciate just guaranteed damage going her way. But it does mean that she is able to go for like the Frozen Heart style builds, something a little bit tankier later in the game. So there's a lot of push and pull between these two teams, but they need ways to actually get team fights started more consistently. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a very dynamic pick-focused game.
Really, for IMT, it was just draft all together. You're just hoping that someone gets Joey'd like we saw with the Immortals play yesterday against CLG. That meme just kills me, Josh. That meme just kills me. You just got Joey'd. I saw it on the Twitter.
You just got Joey'd.
Saw it all over the Twitch chat. Let's
go, Joey.
Second phase of bans comes in. Gonna go after a lot of these solo lanes, Yone, Aurelia, and Azir, as well as the jungle. Banned away Lee Sin.
Okay.
Taken. But there it is. Chad has been talking this up so much. He's played it already once. This lethal tempo Bola Mania Rengar.
We'll see if he can continue having the exact same effect as he did last time, right? Constantly setting things up. And the player that we haven't really talked about coming in from Immortals, who had such a big day and was Sierra's player to watch, was Pretty, right? He landed so many back-to-back seismic shoves, looking very strong across the board. And when he was given this matchup where he got the LeBlanc into the Ahri, he had so much control in that matchup. And he eventually was able to find the people that he needed to. He caught out Luger when Luger made like one mistake. And now I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something similar. A lot of burst is available, and Immortals can really commit to playing the chaotic style of game that they already have the champions for.
Yeah, I saw that hover to the Jace for a second. Didn't think that was going to go through because look at how squishy that composition would be. You need a tank, you need a frontline. Ornn is the final lock-in for 100 Thieves Academy.
Yeah, oh, and Joey is always a troll when it comes to what you actually like hover. But the Lissandra is something that Pretty can play, right? You have a lot of lockdown on this. You suddenly become primary engaged for your team when nobody else is able to do it. This should be something that Pretty has a lot of experience with, but he also has so much experience on basically everything. We said this was Pretty's meta. He could play anything he wanted. Laning phase isn't nearly as important, and if he can shut down Jimmy and prevent this Ahri from taking over and picking off all of the squishy members of his team, Immortals are going to be in a fantastic position for the upcoming fights.
There's a lot of wombo combo on Immortals, and I'm just noticing right now if they do end up in some of these team fights. I mean, the Lissandra and the Lilia are great setups to have for the hostile takeover. Once we get those team fights going, Chad's going to be looking for assassinations onto that backline because there's still a lot of squishy members. So
yeah.
You can imagine Immortals are going to look to swing hands. 100 Thieves, they still got some decent scaling on their hands, especially in the mid game, and having some team fight with the Ornn. But I'm not liking it as much from what you have in terms of resources for Immortals.
Yeah, I see this Ornn, though, and the first thing that comes to mind is, God, I hate playing this champion into Lilia, man. Like, Lilia is so fun to play against these tanky top laners. You just kind of dance around them, and as long as you don't get hit by the Ornn E, by the Searing Charge, you are in a very good position to just continue dancing, and Ornn just has to make this slow trek back to his turret, and he's like, okay, please stop hitting me. I'm going to go that way now. Please do not sleep me. But at the very least, Ornn does have the ability to use that Bellows Breath, the W, in order to ignore the sleep if you time it correctly. So there is play there, but it is something where you're giving a lot of tools over to Vital to kind of push around one of the better top laners that we've had in the Academy system.
And you can only hope that you get into the deep late game of this to get those Ornn items. The Rift is now ready for our third series of the day, 100 Thieves Academy versus Immortals Academy. And I'm expecting a lot of skirmishing off of this one. As I said, 100 Thieves have this like kind of mid-game spiking going on with this double ADC and the Ahri. For Immortals Academy, these tools are very nice. They chain together pretty well. If you start having fights around neutral objectives, especially if you clump up, if 100 Thieves clump up, there's a lot of punishment that can come out of Immortals comp.
So just don't clump up, right?
Don't clump
Easy.
up. Don't clump up.
Easy. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
We say that, you know, as we are doing the casting, but Will?
Collect all those marks, Will. You need to get that long range.
Yeah.
So
All you gotta do. Just kill them and don't die. That's how you play Smash. Why doesn't it work in League? I mean, it actually kind of does work in League. If you just don't get hit by skill shots, it makes it very easy to do things. But Will being a little bit annoying by moving forward, and Chad not really able to get the same kind of play going through. But oh, we do have to pay attention to the fact that he is not playing the lethal tempo Rengar they were talking about yesterday. He is actually going to be playing the first strike Rengar, and there are plenty of squishy people on 100 Thieves that he can try and assassinate, but Kindred has an ultimate. Jimmy and BMFX both have dashes away, so it kind of reduces his ability to easily play. And look at this. Hey, look, it's Chad. He goes for level 1s. Aha.
I was talking to Cubby a little bit about this on why that lethal tempo was so valued by Chad. His best assumption was just the extended range for the leap.
No, it's actually just, you're just constantly auto-attacking. Yeah, you actually just, like, constantly auto-attack with it, because by getting all these auto-attacks going, you actually want to get more opportunities to use your other abilities, and the extra range is nice, but you don't get to use it for the first auto-attack, right? You just want to stay in the fights, and you rely on the fact that you have the Divine Sunderer and your W, where it just, like, burst heals all the damage you just took in order to keep yourself alive. So you don't actually need the Conqueror healing because you have other items going for it. But that's not the version of Rengar we're playing right now. So Chad, if you have to play this Rengar sometimes, you do know that you will have to play this more bursty style of Rengar every now and then, and he decides that this is the game to actually bring it out because he has Pretty to actually do the engaging for him.
Chad was so fun to watch on this Rengar. We had talked about it in the pregame, just how many bolas this man had thrown out in a fight. I counted 4 in one team fight where he just hid behind a bush, threw the Fog of War, throws a bola, another bola, another bola. They're all just rooting. Having all that lockdown on such a strong champion and having a strong high damage comp, that's going to be the value of Chad.
Yeah, we'll see how well he can do. Good charm from Jimmy. But it is Chad finding another advantage in the early game, right? He's gone for level 1 invades almost every single game. I think he's done it every single game so far. And he gets to start with extra camps, and it forces Will into a situation where he's going to be looking for ganks because he can't go into the enemy jungle. There's nothing to take.
Not a thing to take, but a thing to contest for, and that's going to be Scuttle, as it's marked right there. Jimmy doesn't realize that there's a Rengar waiting in that bush, 2 hops, and it's first blood for Pretty.
Yeah, okay, you can get the mark. I will take your mid laner. Easy trade every single time. Best trade deal in the history of trade deals for Chad, and he's going to be able to go back and take the topside Scuttle and continue to clear out his jungle. So he's got a pretty big tempo advantage going up against Will in the next couple of minutes, where he will have a significant amount of gold relative to this Kindred.
So what I'm noticing right now, Josh, I bring it up every game, especially if it doesn't happen. There's no fighting going on in the bot lane. There's no chaos going on.
What?
Lucian, I got a Callista. I got a Renata. Why aren't they throwing right now? They're already level 3 and we haven't had our first blood in the bot lane.
Nobody's died yet.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Finally, thank you for hearing me out here. BMFX will be able to get...
Rip!
Oh, get an assist,
There's
actually,
no mana.
as Arrow is still there in his face with high health and pick it off.
Well, I guess all you need to do is complain about it. That's how Qs work, right? Like, I can't believe we've still been in Q, and instantly the Q pops. This time Arrow's going to be finding a kill, and Sword is actually the one who gets the last hit onto Joey. So it ends up being slightly in favor of IMT at the end of it. But as we have a replay coming through, we can take a little bit more of it. We've been seeing a lot more of this like skirmishing and just looking for these opportunities, but they both stun each other up. But Lucian is front-loaded damage, Callista is rear-loaded damage, and when you don't have a whole lot of mana, the Reds aren't going to be doing the same amount of damage as you would have if you could actually cast the ability. So it feels like there's kind of a trade between the two bottom lanes, and both AD carries are happy to do that if they get the kill, but it was only Arrow who actually got the money.
Arrow was able to cash in, Sword cashed in as well, but what's that gold gonna do on Anami?
Yeah. It feels like a prisoner's dilemma, actually, now that I think about it.
Really?
Right? Like, both supports are stunned. If I, as an AD carry, choose not to all in here, my support will die. But if I all in, I will kill the enemy support. So you have to both like cooperate and choose not to fight, or you're just gonna trade the 1-for-1 there every single time. So like, it's just game theory, man.
It's just simple game theory.
A game theory.
Come on.
Just a theory.
All right, you got me.
I got you to break. Yeah. You said I couldn't do it.
Okay, fine. You win this one. You win this one, Josh. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, he's been trying to get me to break character by saying the cringiest thing he possibly can, and hitting me with the game theory was too blindsiding.
There you go.
Back to the game. Chad, I believe he appears to be leashing this Drake. Yeah, going right after this Drake. It's solo, but right in a ward. No one's there to respond to it, so first Drake should go over to IMT.
Yeah, Will is on the other side of the map, and so this is pretty standard stuff coming out from IMT, right? Chad has a gold lead just because he's ahead in farm, but Vital, he's in a pretty okay matchup, but he's not necessarily been able to abuse it quite as well. He's not quite as used to playing these lanes in the competitive roster, and he hasn't been getting a whole lot of support, but now Chad, they spotted him out.
Chad is so BM. The moment he gets spotted, he puts up the thumbs up on top of it with the emote. Still using his ultimate, not going after Will. I mean, you do get the.
But he gets that Gromp. Get him!
In there. Yeah, you used it on the Gromp.
Gank the Gromp.
Gank the Gromp. Will's ganking him. Jimmyin's collapsing. And taking. Ooh, fancy feet. Chad steps away. And there's that bola. Ah, he missed it. He missed it.
It's okay. I mean, he's lethality Rengar. He's not the Divine Sunderer Rengar. And now we got the first full fight.
Still Bola Rengar as the fight breaks out. Pretty goes into the Glacial Prison. Call the Forge God. Doesn't land onto anything.
But it does land on the blue buff.
Got the blue
Nasty
buff.
gets it. You said
right.
nothing.
You're right. I was wrong. Tenacity now has blue buff. And Jimmyin over the wall, looking to pick up a kill onto Chad. Chad deep into this bush. Will grabs it and grabs a mark on top of it.
Yeah, good stuff coming through. Jimmyin, one of the things I was criticizing him last split was that he wasn't necessarily able to go for a lot of these aggressive plays, but now, ever since we saw him in Proving Grounds, he's really turned it on. He started figuring out where he could go aggressive. He started coordinating with his team a little bit better, and now as the most experienced member of this roster, I love seeing when he's able to lead the rest of the team and go for these plays. So getting that kill, even though he didn't actually pick it up, it went over to Will, that's still a big win coming through, that 100 Thieves are able to defend their own side of the map.
Jimmyin from the PCS brought in to 100 Thieves Academy. As you were saying, it wasn't the expectations we were hoping for, but now we're seeing this new side of Jimmyin after Proving Grounds, during the Proving Grounds, and now after the Proving Grounds, where he can do a little bit more. Question is, can he do it soon for 100 Thieves to deal with this fight coming out from Immortals, as Immortals trying to stalk the jungle camps, take away the red buff, just behind the wall, don't realize what awaits them.
Oh yeah, but it's a Joey. You don't want to get Joey'd. Got to make sure you're okay. So Arrow and Joey, as they move back down into the bottom lane, right? I love the fact that they use the window. Everybody talks about priority as a way, like the wave is pushing, but it's like, the wave doesn't have to be pushing. You just have to have the opportunity to move without losing anything. And because the wave was frozen, Joey and Arrow can just go forward.
Ooh, here we go. Joey looking to hop on in and punish BMFX. But it's just a skirmish. It's not a full-on fight. No one willing spill blood just yet. BMFX now starting to back off because he needs to respect the authority of Arrow on this Ballista, and especially Joey, who's been landing these handshakes pretty spot on.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see a little bit more, right? We saw that Luger had so much success here, but it appears to be more of a skill matchup, and it definitely is more of a skill matchup, but now they're just going for it. Chad's here.
Coming out. Now here's the hostile takeover, but it's that's quite the distance to cover if you wanted that one to land.
Yeah, screw these minions in particular. But it ends up working out, they get a plate, they deny a bunch of minions, and BMFX and Sword can't walk up, so Chad, even though he doesn't get any kills, he gets a lot of pressure down and prevents BMFX from actually farming. Nice. Nice moves! Pretty!
Ooh, nice.
Can we talk about that for a sec? That was sick. I don't know what to actually say, it was just good.
Yeah.
Good movement.
Didn't say it's good. It's great.
It's good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, he's been looking phenomenal. I remember that flank from yesterday. My God, the LeBlanc flank, where he just picked off member after member.
Yeah.
And he's on a champion that has pretty good flanking potential on top of it with Lissandra and the Claw.
Yeah. We'll see how effective he can be in this game, because there are a lot of ways for 100 Thieves to try and stifle that. One, they can just get the fight started on their own. They have the Ornhorn, they have the Nami Wave, they have a lot of dashes, so as long as the Relentless Pursuit or the Spirit Rush are available, it's hard for Pretty to actually get in on top of these fights. So there's still a lot of play coming through, but he's got a guaranteed crowd control, and he can't just pick one person to die.
So a very slow game to start this one off. Only a 1K lead coming out from Immortals 11 minutes into this one. So got a little bit of time before those plates do fall off, and taking a little check-in with how the lanes are going. It's going to be a lane swap coming in, sending the bot lane to the top and the top to the bot. Still, lots of plates available. None really taken on the side of 100 Thieves, as they haven't been able to push up just yet, but Immortals have been able to claim a few. 2 in the bot lane, 1 in the mid.
Yeah. I also want to say, remember that conversation we were having about the Lilia-Ornn matchup? This is when it starts to get really fun for the Lilia, is when you have all of this movement speed, when you have such a low cooldown on your Q as you finish maxing it. You hit level 9, then you start dancing around. But Tenacity, he's already got the Force of Nature. He just wants to have the extra movement speed and the damage reduction that comes along with it. So this is where you start seeing opportunities for both players to have big plays coming through.
And the damage from the Ornn to the knockup on Vital. Waiting for that big moment to come through. I mean, you're not. It's still going to be a couple of minutes. Like, I think even around Dragon Timers, we're still not going to see fights. As you see, it's been completely uncontested. 100 Thieves Academy, not really going for it. Immortals on the respawn every time. Seems like 100 Thieves are just kind of biding their time for their kits to come online, and it's going to result in Will being a little bit isolated on this rotation. Walks over to Sword, has the backup of his team as the Lamps for Spike goes down. Tidal Wave to follow through. Chad on the flank, look to go in. There is the hostile takeover as 2 get picked up. Make it 3 for Arrow.
A triple kill coming through. Will just trying to bait Pretty in, but even with the Lamps for Spike going down, it just buys enough time for Arrow to stack up all the spears. The Ren doing an incredible amount of damage, and 4 kills suddenly going over to Arrow. We've had so many conversations about Chad versus Arrow, who you got to pay attention to. This game, the answer is clear. You pay attention to the 4-0 Callista, and we'll take another look at exactly how they got there.
Just look at this. It was to try and pick off Will. Lamps for Spike does buy time, but
he walks back.
Buy you more friends.
It doesn't buy you more friends. Chad is already here. And look at how the hostile takeover was just enough to get Arrow to come back. It looked like BMFX like switched targets because he thought Arrow was actually dead. Instead of just mostly dead. Big difference.
Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah. 2 bluff.
It's like a Karthus thing, or is this the payback thing?
Yeah. Wait. Have you seen Princess Bride?
I haven't.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
It's not about bluffing, it's true love. Anyway, IMT trying to do another thing. They got Arrow here. They will get some of the Herald. They won't do as much damage. BMFX is caught.
Oh, there's a handshake. Slammed
Nice.
into BMFX. Nice, as Pretty joins the fight. Arrow's gonna grab another one and start rending them down for a double kill. Jimmy on the back end of that fight walks in, sees, I got no team. Never mind, I'm out of here.
Not enough friends here for Jimmy, and Vital looking for this fight. He does have to sleep if he wants to take it.
Called for. God's gonna have to deal with that. Pops the sleep. It is gonna put Tenacity to rest. Take a quick snooze, and Vital will step out.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is kind of what we're seeing, right? These 2 top laners are just kind of going at it, but Tenacity slowly building up a CS lead. So good stuff there from 100 Thieves to actually find a matchup where Tenacity can win. I remember when we were looking at Tenacity as a player who couldn't really play a lot of these tanks. He wasn't known for his ability to play Ornn, but now that he's grown into the ability to play a variety of different styles, he's become so much better. But we'll take another replay at this top lane fight. And the big thing here is, remember all those flanks we were talking about and how much mobility there was? If you don't have any mobility left, you're all just going to go down super quickly. And once you have that route, Callista is so good at chasing people down in these fights that you just get all these hops and you're able to keep up with everyone. So 6 kills already going over. Arrow is an absolute monster, and we'll see if he can actually turn it into something.
Alright, the ultimate going to be used on BMFX is Pretty. Puts down the Everfrost on top. They're waiting for the cooldown of the Q. Can use it on a minion, but there was a minion too close. There's a kitty cat even closer. Hops onto BMFX. Takes him down, and now the rest of IMT looking to go towards Sword, looking to go towards the bot lane and get a tower.
Yeah, almost got Joey'd there. But it is still going to be the tower who is going to be getting chatted and Pretty. But it's still a good play coming through, right? Chad and Pretty just working together. They have enough lockdown, and it feels kind of reminiscent of the way that you play with Mordekaiser ult, right? You just use it to hold somebody in place, and then your Twisted Fate or your Rengar or your Nocturne just waits outside like, hello, I am here, and now you are dead. Hope you enjoyed your stay in the Death Realm. But Will, should be alright. And as we kind of look at the rest of the game, we have to remember that Immortals are already 2 dragons to 0, and with the team fight timer with 68, 67 seconds left, Immortals have a ton of vision control on the bottom side of the map.
But not too much movement coming out from either team yet towards this dragon side. Finally, 100 Thieves are starting to send a unit into the mid lane. It appears that Immortals are more centered towards this Rift Herald. Taking a look back at the top side, you have Chad waiting around here. Tenacity now, you were talking about how he's kind of started to be more and more of a tank player, picking up those champions into his champion pool. I remember one of those champions going into his champion pool, and that was Mundo. And he had first timed it without ever trying it in scrims and got a victory on it. Tenacity is a wild man.
Man, he's really good. Like, he's just really naturally good at the game. And so when he's able to just, like, first time a lot of champions, you know it's going to be a good time. But we'll see how much control they have now, because Vital is not there, but Arrow...
Oh, Chad's damage and Arrow's damage in tandem destroy him.
Yeah, Will very clearly was not expecting that amount of damage to come out. He still has his flash, still has the Lamb's Respite, and that is going to be a third dragon going over towards the side of Immortals, and potentially a turret as well. They're getting, like, everything they could ask for.
Chad wandering around in this jungle. Finally, a bubble's going to land. BMFX using the tidal wave to jump onto Arrow, but gets knocked up in the process. There's the hostile takeover running right through the middle as Jimmy gets caught by Arrow, who's dancing all over this place. A hop, a step, a jump. Chad hops in from behind the tower and grabs sword. It is time for Immortals to take down structures as they take down the mid lane tower and race right to the Drake.
Absolutely crazy stuff coming through, and it all comes from just Will getting caught, and then it feels like just a natural play immediately afterwards where Chad looks for an opportunity to get another catch while the rest of his team pushes up. They want to crash the Rift Herald and then transition it to the Dragon, but they get even more than that. Now 100 Thieves. Can they try and get anything back? There's no Rift Herald, there's no Baron to play for. Chad just like, yeah, you know, I got my Carlista to do it. Don't worry about it. We're fine. We got this.
Good reason for that. He's 9-0-2. Did you see him moving around in that team fight? Because if you didn't, take another look.
Take another look. We'll take a look at it, right? Chad just goes on in, but Arrow is just like, yeah, no, I got this. Effectively 1v3 for most of this, dodging around, dodges all of Jimmy's damage and flashes back in. You know, there's a lot of questions about whether or not the veteran of Arrow would be able to stand up in the field of a ton of talented rookies. He's doing it right now, right? And that's the kind of question you have to be able to answer if you want to try and get back to the LCS. He did trade time with Wild Turtle, but now he's back with us.
And it's pretty nice considering how much the meta's changed when you think about a player like Arrow who's as storied as Arrow. He's been playing for many seasons, many years. You know, he comes back from the OG era of stuff like Juggermaws, of stuff like Protect the Puppies and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, he's played through so many different metas, so he has had a lot of time in all these different experiences. Jimmy with the catch out here. It's actually Pretty who tries to catch out Jimmy with the claw, but doesn't commit to it. Now waiting for the rest of 100 Thieves circling.
Where's Chad? There he is. There he is.
There he is.
Wow.
There, there was BMFX. Okay, burning. Nope, he's still gonna stay alive, but that burst damage. I'm getting flashbacks right now, Josh. This reminds me of old Rengar.
Oh, I mean, it is old Rengar, right? Like, you still have the crit, you have the Sheen item coming through, he's got the... Oh!
Ooh, oh! Nice burst of damage, but Will, he knew how much Chad can put out there, had the safety to just put him down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of Rengar, right? If you jump on him and there are no bushes around, he doesn't have flash, he can't do much. He relies on conditional mobility. Oh,
Aww.
Will's not getting Joey'd today, but... it is still a ton of control. 6,000 gold lead for Immortals. Most of it currently on Arrow and Pretty.
Now back to this once again. Pretty versus Jimmy, and Orb of Deception goes through. Good amount of damage. Now, that ultimate does heal the Lissandra as well, opting to not use it on Jimmy for the extra damage. Instead, just clearing out the wave because backup has arrived. Arrow and Joey show up, and Arrow has now gone legendary.
10 straight kills for Arrow, 0 deaths. It was the Pretty show yesterday, but now it is all about Arrow in this game. They want to get this turret, they want to get every scrap of gold that they can on the map before they go towards the Dragon, and we're quickly running out of room for 100 Thieves, right? Tenacity has a small lead in his lane, but, you know, a slightly winning lane is not enough to win the game. He needs to try and get enough gold, get enough levels to start making the rest of his team tankier, but there's not even a play around the dragon. We don't even have time for that. It's just 100 Thieves gonna have to face check directly into Callisto doing Baron.
They sniff it out. They sniff it out. That's the important part, though. The longer that Callisto's with that Baron, the harder it is going to be to smite it thanks to that rend damage. Smart of 100 Thieves and smart of Will to know that was going on, but it kind of shows you what Immortals can do with this map. They can feel free to go ahead and risk whatever objective they want to because they have such a strong gold lead. 21 minutes into this, we are at 7k for Immortals at Dragon Soul Point.
Yeah. So now that we look at 100 Thieves and the fact that they are down about 6,000 gold, they have to try and figure out how do they kill arrows. The same problem that we saw previously. How did you kill Luger? But the answer this time is pretty narrow. You have Charm. And that's about it. Right? Like, you need to land the Charm in order to land the follow-up crowd control. And so there's a lot of pressure on Jimian, who had one good play at the beginning of the game. He had a couple of good plays last season as well, where he was able to be the proactive player. But he's not strong enough to necessarily do all the damage on his own. He needs follow-up from somebody like Will. He needs follow-up from anybody else to get the damage down. And it's still going to be him that needs to set up the play. Even if he dies, he needs to land that Charm. He needs to catch Arrow out, or there's no way they can win a fight.
Trying to catch Arrow. It's tough. It's trying to swat a fly with your bare hand. He moves so fast at this point. You know, he just has to rage play so much connection on top of it. He might break out. There's the hostile takeover. You just got Joey'd. Vital hops in, tenacity over the wall, but 100 Thieves, they head for the hills. Immortals, a blink engage, and my goodness, Jimian still trying, but he will soon be dying. Pretty over the wall, still follows through. Couple more pops right there of the Spirit Rush. Does get the charm, so Jimian's going to be able to escape, but Immortals, man, that hair trigger on that fight was big.
Yeah, that was huge. Remember, we said that they had to get Arrow if they wanted to win any fights. If Arrow is free to hit, there's no way you can turn things around. And guess what? Arrow is free to hit. They used everything they could on Joey, and he Joey'd them right back. So we'll take another look at it and kind of watch. Like, yes, Joey did a good job getting his hostile takeover off, but just watch how free Arrow is. Literally, nobody is hitting him. He is going to hit whoever he wants. And yes, Jimian did the thing he needed to. He landed the charm. But we said he doesn't have enough damage to do anything on his own. Arrow takes like a third of his HP from the entire combo. I was like, okay, you're next. Let me chase you down instead. And so with the Baron, the entire team fight, and now the Cloud Soul going over. Oh, well.
That's rude. That's entirely rude right there, Chad. Does get pushed out, has to run a long way to get away from that one, but here comes the fight coming out from Immortals. They will grab the Drake on the back, and they will, not realizing there's a cat right behind them. Will gets destroyed. Vital now backing up, trying to wait for those cooldown. Sees it coming, goes after Jimmy, and it's a double kill coming out for Chad as 100 Thieves want nothing to do with Immortals. Arrow wants everything to do with these fights, but he is alone. Tidal Wave goes out, the sidestep goes through, tries to get away from the call of the Forge God, paid back, couldn't find its mark, but cannot get the kill onto Jimian in time.
Wow, they got him, and it was tenacity that finally did the play that they needed to. They finally get the first kill onto Arrow. That's 1,000 gold shutdown going over to someone. But at the end of it, they're still down a whole Cloud Soul. They're still down 9,000 gold. Several members of Immortals have the Baron, and so it's stopping the bleeding. But they still need to drag out this game for so much longer. It's not even obvious that they win the later the game goes. They are still in a spot where they are looking to pick off Arrow, where they're looking to pick off Chad or maybe Joey, but you have to pick them separately. If they're together when you go for the pick, it doesn't work, as we kind of see here, because Chad's the one who's like, oh, hey, look, it's a goat. I love goat.
I was wondering what happened right there. He just straight up hopped to a raptor.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is sad. I mean, this is sad. Poor Will. Doesn't realize what's behind him.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where you just have Arrow. Like, if Arrow had been here for the fight instead of doing the Dragon, it's a domination fight. It's not even close. But Immortals end up kind of splitting their attention, and Arrow picks up the Dragon, and oh no, they got Cloud Soul instead of winning the team fight. Like, it's still such a strong position that they're in. It doesn't end up... It's unlikely to end up mattering that they lost that team fight, but it does give 100 Thieves another window where they can try and make something happen. So we just saw Jimmy had to land the charm. He did land it, but there wasn't enough to follow it up. Now Tenacity is in on the play as well, and so as he comes back into the rest of the game, he has his Anathema's chains. I'm sure it's going to be onto Arrow. He has the extra Tenacity reduction. Not reducing himself, but, you know, the ability to reduce crowd control on Arrow. And if they could do that, the charm is so much more impactful.
But before you deal with that, you have to deal with the siege of Immortals now looking to come in. Ooh, you get some lockdown onto Chad. The chain of CC onto Chad is going to get a kill. Pretty in the middle of 100 Thieves. Drops the ultimate alongside the W for the root for the snare. Now Vital going after Jimmy and just going to clear the wave. Arrow over the wall. He sees 3. Hostile takeover.
Watch this rat.
And it is cleanup time for Arrow.
You see the Labs Respite, you see Callista, she's auto-attacking the whole time. As soon as it falls, 2 people just dead. Arrow once again able to free hit this entire time. He does so much damage, and Jimmy and Tenacity, the people who have the crowd control, might be able to get him, but he also doesn't have to stick around if he doesn't want to. The inhibitor, okay, they do get the inhibitor, right? Yeah, they do, okay, and then they catch him.
Oh, they do catch him. The knockup went through. Looking for the payback. Can he get the assist in time? Answer's going to be no. A kill coming in for Jimmy, but the health bar is a little bit too low for 100 Thieves here. Too high risk to chase.
Yeah, 100 Thieves, Jimmy and Tenacity are stepping up when they need to. It was the Ornn previously, it was Concept's Ornn who was catching Luger. Now it's Tenacity's Ornn who is catching out Arrow. They still lose the inhibitor. Arrow will still be up for the Baron in time. He will still be up for the Elder Dragon, but it's glimmers of hope that we're seeing coming out from the 100 Thieves roster, right? They catch Chad. We said there's no bushes, there's no ult, there's no flash. He's just going to be going down. And at the same time, Arrow, at the same time, just gets a free hit. Just gets a free hit, right? We called out last time. Just watch how nobody can actually do anything to him. So he's confident enough with all these buttons down. They can just walk in. He's got the mobility. He can dodge the charm. He's not really worried about it. So when you are this far ahead, you get to have a little bit of fun.
Just free hit all he wants. Because,
I don't know why I was Italian for that.
If you looked at the back line, Vital put them to sleep. Easily pressed the ultimate over there, so no one could even help out their own teammates. 100 Thieves. What do you do? What do you do on this one? I mean, you're just rolling for the next one. Dragon Soul's already taken. I'm really surprised, though, here that Immortals haven't been able to close out.
Look, I don't know if you heard that, Eric, but our producer's like, it's a Joey time. It's always a Joey time. You know, when you're on the Academy stream. But it is definitely a situation where we are in a pretty dire spot. We will see if Arrow ends up going down again, or if he can clean it up, right? Luger finally took one fight. He played it a little bit slower, and they instantly won the game afterwards. Now, the one person that we kind of haven't talked about, and we will do another check-in and see at the end of the game how much he's done. Vital has just kind of been in this game, right?
Yeah.
This is a little bit closer to what I was expecting when he first joined the roster.
It's not too bad to just have him
fine.
in that spot, because he's neutralized the lane. We don't have too much going off with Tenacity. He's just constantly applying pressure there. Doesn't have to be a stud, just has to be a piece of the machine.
Yeah. We'll see if he can find anything, right? He had like one pretty decent sleep for the team, but this is a spot where we want to see if he can step up like he did on the Yone yesterday. He's definitely got the tools for it.
Here comes the call once again. Arrow starting up the Baron.
Oh.
And Vital starting up this assault in the bot lane, going after Tenacity. Arrow not willing to commit to that Baron, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's way easier to fight for the Elder Dragon than it is for the Baron, right? The Baron just does so much more damage. And so this is an opportunity for Will to step up. Remember, it was XU who established a reputation as winning every single 50-50 smite in Dignitas games. Maybe Will can do the same kind of thing here if they can even get close to the Elder Dragon.
They're trying to get close to it, but look at all that fog of war.
They want to. Yeah. And Tenacity's not here. He's your face checker, right? If he's not there, it is so hard for members of 100 Thieves to actually walk up and... Oop, bowling ball!
Almost a strike.
Right between the 7-10. But yeah, now they just get to hit it. Even with the vision that is going on, they find Arrow!
They find Arrow. Here comes the follow-through call. The Forge God knock up onto Arrow. Payback will not save him. but Vital on the back line. Look at him go, has to go golden, waiting to put down that sleep. Vital runs low and Will takes him down. Lamb's Respite applied, saying it to buy some extra time with the invulnerability, but there is the hostile takeover. Pretty coming in as well with the ultimate to freeze up the back line. Chad cleaning house, and Jimmy is the only survivor to tell the story of the Immortals.
Oh my gosh, yet again Jimian finds Arrow to start that off. His cleanse wasn't off just quite yet, but the Elder Dragon is enough. Pretty Chad, Joey still have the damage that they need to take down all these members, and so the only one person left alive. Jimian has to try and defend against 3 members with Elder.
Be fast here because the minion wave is right on the Nexus tower, and Joey's right at your face. Chad able to take down one. Orb of Deception goes out, and Joey starts to run low. They're not going to be able to finish off this game. They have to bail away.
But he did ult that tower. Yeah, he messed that tower up. You didn't see that coming. That tower had no idea what it was in for, but good stuff to Jimian. That's yet another time they have found Arrow 3 fights in a row. BMFX, I don't know about this one, buddy. You got to be careful. Okay, he was careful. Good job.
Oh, call right here, rushing out. It's going to be 100 Thieves. And with the way this game is going, this is definitely a desperation Baron here. They feel the pressure that's going on, the gold lead that's been amassed by Immortals. They're going for the Baron. Pretty over the wall, Chad on the flank, Arrow waiting on the bridge. Here we go, Pretty jumps in the middle, able to grab one instantly as Chad hops onto another. Goomba stomps for days coming out from Chad. Hostile takeover onto Tenacity, who goes deep into the Baron pit. It's a triple kill coming out for Chad, and that's all that's needed for Immortals to finally close out this game number 1.
Looking for Sword at the very end. They will find him. That's 4 kills in the last fight for Chad. Maximilian coming through with all of the big plays, and they will end the game off of that. Good stuff from Immortals. It took a little bit longer than we might have wanted. With the number of kills that Arrow had, he suddenly became a huge target. But Immortals eventually figured out they don't need to have Arrow carry them if they have Pretty, if they have Chad ready to pick up the slack.
Man, the battle between the 100 Thieves Next alum junglers is very, very heated. I know Chad's going to be taking this all the way to the ego right now because he has been obsessed. He's been talking so much about this Rengar pick. Well, I got to give credit to it. It looked great.
Yeah, I love what Exy said about Chad too. Like, he just makes enemies with everybody so that it's always a personal vendetta when you actually get onto the Rift. And, you know, we can kind of see that a little bit. Chad was looking pretty good. He once again stole away multiple camps at the very beginning of the game. We'll have to see if any team is going to be able to shut that down, because just giving Chad free advantages is not an easy ticket to success. So, good stuff to Immortals. They find a win here, and if they can continue doing that, they're going to be in a fantastic spot for the rest of the season.
Strong game 1 showing. We are going to take a moment to take a breather, take a break. When we return, we'll have CR Dawn with us, so be sure to stay tuned.